Well, howdy, y'all, and thanks for joining me on today's episode of Good News with Trixie. I'm your hostess, Trixie. Today, we're going to explore some fun stories that will hopefully encourage your heart, strengthen your faith, and give you some gump back into your gumption. So take a seat and let's order up a dish of happiness with a dash of encouragement and sprinkled with some perspective. Today, we're going to talk about attitude. Did you know that your attitude determines your altitude in life? Let me say that again for those that may not have been listening. Your attitude determines your altitude in life. Now, you might be asking yourself, what does Miss Trixie mean by that? Let's take a look at two different approaches to the same scenario. Here it is. Both of our characters have had a bad night with little to no sleep, woke up and just looked and felt awful. Their spouse is running around the house like a chicken with their head cut off, and the kids are just screaming away. And they both have a big day ahead of them, with both of our characters having a big presentation that could make or break their company. And all they want to do is go back to bed. But life ain't gonna quit, and Father Time has a funny way of marching on, with or without them. So what do? Well, they both really have two choices they can make. One, they can be cranky and upset, worried about the day and all stressed out. Or two, determined to make it a great day despite how they are feeling. Whatever they choose will impact the rest of their day and how things pan out. Let's take a brief look at how a positive attitude versus a negative attitude can make or break a day. Let's give our two characters names. How about Positive Patrick and Negative Nancy? Now, don't be sending me no nasty email if you're watching this and your name is Patrick or Nancy. I ain't picking on you. The names just kind of rhymed. Anywho, after leaving their hectic houses, both characters head over to their favorite coffee shop for some much needed coffee. Or as we like to call it at our house, anti-murdery juicy juice. The drive-through line is longer than most days and already started out late. Neither of them have time to sit in line outside, so they both park and go in. Once inside the coffee shop, there's a woman whose child is uber cranky and crying up a storm. There's a spill on the floor that hasn't been attended to, and the staff, much like our character spouses, are running around like a chicken with their heads cut off. Positive Patrick orders his coffee and lets the cashier know about the spill in a kind way. He also decides to help the mom struggling with her kid and buys a small tasty treat. He walks over to the mom and gives her kid the small treat, making the kid calm down and mom in awe of his kindness, and the staff is cleaning up the spill to prevent any falls. Negative Nancy, on the other hand, rolls her eyes as she sees the mom with her kid, making the mom feel terrible, and the kid just revolts even more. Her coffee order is curt and slightly rude, and she could care less about the spill and doesn't tell the cashier about it. Upon getting her coffee, she narrowly escapes slipping on the spill, while someone who didn't notice the spill actually slips, and mom and baby are still trying to work things out. Headed into the office, traffic is awful, bumper to bumper, and no one's going anywhere due to a pileup from an accident. Positive Patrick calls the office, informing them that he's running late due to an accident on the highway, and then puts on some groovy music and starts singing to his favorite tunes. While Negative Nancy is up in arms and yelling at traffic, all the while raising her blood pressure, which in turn makes her forget to call the office to let them know she's running late, and she also spills her coffee in her lap while yelling at an innocent bystander. Once at the office, Positive Patrick walks in to see his boss slightly frustrated at the fact that he's late, but receptive since he called in. They both walk into the boardroom and Patrick nails his presentation to the board. The concept is accepted, and a new deal with some big perks for Patrick is now a-rolling. In the meantime, Negative Nancy shows up at work, and the first thing her boss asks is, "Why are you late again?" Nancy tries to hold her frustration of the morning in, but just can't help herself and makes a couple of statements that upset her boss. They exchange some words right before the board meeting where Nancy's supposed to give her presentation. Unfortunately, she's so disheveled that she completely botches the presentation and leaves the office with no new deal signed. Positive Patrick is so excited about his new deal that he stops on the way home and buys flowers for his wife and dinner for his family as a celebration. Woo-hoo! Patrick is welcomed home with arms open wide and lots of love from the family. On the other side of the city, Negative Nancy leaves the office almost in tears, heartbroken over her performance and just flat out angry with the world and herself. Once again, she's caught in traffic and frustrated. When she finally makes it home, she finds her husband and kids finishing dinner without her because they had no clue when she'd be home since she didn't call. Sorry about that, just a quick PSA moment. If you are enjoying this content, would you mind liking this video? Maybe even share it with your friends and family. And if you would like to be notified about more content, please hit that subscribe button. And if you hit the bell, you'll be notified every time we put a new video out. Okay, back to our story. Now, don't be sending me no hate mail about being sexist or anything like that. This example is for entertainment purposes only. But on a serious note, do you see now how making up your mind that you're going to make it a great day can impact everything that you say and do? It even impacts those around you. Now, if you tend to be more like the Negative Nancy, you can change. All it takes is one decision. The decision to be positive no matter the circumstances. Now, I ain't saying it's easy. It may not happen overnight, but step by step, day by day, if you make an effort to be more positive and choose a great attitude, I guarantee that you will soon reach a new altitude in your life. If you have some good news or an encouraging story or a funny story that you took a life lesson away with, that you would like me to share with other people, please email me. You can use the link below. We love good news around these parts, so if you got them, let's share them. Also, if you could relate to this story, please feel free to comment below. We'd love to hear from you. Bye for now, and remember, Jesus loves you, and so do I.